Now, when I was a kid, we had snow days, a chance to get out, have snowball fights, and hang out with our friends. But with the pandemic and modern technology, they've paved the way for virtual learning days. So, with the weather in Atlanta this week, I'm basically running a homeschool. Gym, study hall, recess. It's a good thing I'm still unemployed. So it is Monday. There's no school today. So I guess we should do like a meal prep kind of a situation. We got two kinds of meat, which are thawing out. We got some ground beef, and then we have this one chicken breast. Want to just make some Loco Moco instead?
Yeah, make some Loco Moco. It's an easy meal. Loco Moco is just him. Loco Moco is like, you know that feeling when you get too much food and you don't want it? Loco Moco turns that frown upside down.
Howdy. So I am making Loco Moco. This is just a Hawaiian dish, pretty basic, pretty easy, nothing special. It's just pretty much some rice and like some little burger patties with egg. And so I've already gone ahead and got the patties together. And I got to make this sauce, which is just basically some beef broth, a couple, 3 cups of flour? Is it 3 cups of flour? Cloves. We got to put some mixed cloves in here. We're going to put some soy sauce, some more Worcester sauce, and then we need to add some flour and some cornstarch. This meal, of course, is paired with some rice, so this is just a quick meal. He didn't get back over here from his mom's until like 2 o'clock. He was supposed to be over here much earlier, but you know, it bees like that sometimes.
Due to inclement weather, Tuesday, January 21st, 2025. Will be an asynchronous, independent learning day for students.
School is called. They're going to do a virtual learning day for tomorrow because of inclement weather. Like this inclement weather that you're seeing right here. All these storm clouds and that clear sky right now. That's what they're worried about. Guess who just called?
Who?
The school.
What happened?
Virtual learning tomorrow.
Why? Is it snowing?
Winter storm watch. Can we talk about this real quick? Like, what is the deal with these schools closing? I just don't understand how people survive this because it's very difficult. You know, if it's a situation where like the whole city is shut down, fine, you're not going to work either. But if you have to go to work and now your kid's going to be home, you're changing your entire schedule. And then like, there's probably no childcare available for that day either. So here we are. This is a lovely Loco Moco. He likes to have his beef ground up. You could do the patties or you can do it in ground up format. But yeah, it's pretty simple. You know, I got some rice with some thyme and garlic seasoning on it. Then I got the beef and then an egg and then some of the brown gravy sauce on it. So there it is. Solid. Here you go, dude.
Thank you.
So it's been a pretty productive day. It's like 1:30. We've done all the homework already, which pretty light day on the homework. And now I'm just giving them a break to let them play the game for a little bit, only because I am really locked in on trying to apply for jobs today, which is super weird because I haven't applied for a regular job in almost 10 years now. Just to start interviewing, to applying to specific companies that I identify as potential good matches for me. That way, if I have to transition, it doesn't happen very suddenly and I don't really have any good options. But, you know, definitely still holding out hope I don't have to go anywhere because I worked a long time to get where I am and I really don't want to switch it up. It's not your playtime now. You can finish this level, but then you got to turn it off. It is a weekday. Oh, and they just said no school Wednesday. Please tell me how you guys do this. Please tell me, how do you parent and go to work when you have these days? Like, and I'm saying it not because I've never done it, but I've been working as a creative entrepreneur, so I've had the flexibility to just not go to work. If I'm going to get a job, I'm not going to be able to do that. So I'm just curious how you guys have been able to navigate this. Like, what's the strategy? I haven't worked in corporate America in 10 years, but as far as I remember, you can't just keep calling off because you have to take care of your kid. I mean, not without getting fired. PlayStation, your time is up for the day.
I can't. That's something I can't.
Okay, so you have 2 into 8. How many times is 2 going to 8?
4 times.
The snow's been falling, so it's been a pretty slow week. I do like that I've been able to sit with my son and work on his studies, though. It's almost like the homeschool, an opportunity to see how he learns, where he struggles, and how I can help him improve. It's just a reminder that learning doesn't just happen in the classroom. It also happens right here at the kitchen table. As we got closer to bedtime, the school called, and, well, you know the rest.
Many are unable to safely leave their homes. As a result, we have made the decision to extend asynchronous independent learning through Thursday, January 23rd.
One day at a time, taking this shit one day at a time. You out of your mind, thinking that this is all for nothing. One day at a time, taking this shit one day at a time. Came from behind, the underdog is far from done with. Everything I said I do, head down and up my leverage. Learn my lesson, tightest circles, cleaned up who I'm at.
All right, so we just wrapped up a little workout. Since school is still out, we actually decided to go ahead and go to the gym and get a little mini workout in for basketball season. This would have been his first basketball practice of the season, but it looks like that's going to get postponed to next week. So also I needed to work out, and I just find the best way to really get my stuff done is to include him as well. I'm gonna go ahead and do some laundry. I really want to wash all of this stuff, and I know it always seems like I have a ton of laundry, and I don't know why. Honestly, I think it's just I keep spilling drinks when I'm in bed, so I always have to wash my sheets, actually. But he hasn't played organized basketball since he was 3 or 4, so this is definitely going to be a different kind of experience, because at 5th grade, this is about the point where there's that one kid who's been practicing since he was in kindergarten, who's actually kind of a beast. So, but I'm just bracing him for the actual experience of what it's like to actually play when there's somebody who's really good on the court.
What does split hairs mean?
Split hairs. Splitting hairs is 2 things are close to each other. They're almost identical. Tiny differences. There you go. 3 days in a row of virtual learning it's been a lot. I don't know why they actually didn't have homework the second day. I probably get more concerned when they don't have homework than when they do, because I always worry that's not a consistent pace. And I know they're going to have homework and essays and all these big assignments as they get older. So I don't really see the advantage in not having it every single day, even if it's a virtual learning day, even though I don't really want to do it myself. I would rather him have more consistent homework, especially when they have so many virtual learning days. Now, he had an assignment on the first day. The second day, they didn't have an assignment. I checked, I sent messages to all his teachers, and they kind of left me unread. Today, they actually sent extra assignments. So this is kind of what I mean. If we had it every single day, it wouldn't have to be more on the third day. It could just be the same amount every single day. But I digress. So it turns out one of these washing machines is broken, so we're going to be here for an extra 30 minutes. We made it to the bakery. They were still open, but unfortunately, the only thing they had left were fudge brownies, and while they were good... And one sandwich. Yeah, they were good, but...
Who was a sandwich?
I was really looking forward to getting a cinnamon roll.
Say territorial?
Torrential. I totally forgot that my camera has autofocus. Testing. I was sitting here trying to figure out how am I going to set up this shot? like holding my hand out, trying to focus on my hand while adjust the camera. And then I'm like, oh, I'm shooting on a Sony ZV-10. It's got autofocus. Why don't I use the autofocus? I never use it. I went out this morning to capture the sunrise. I was looking for like a really good shot to open up this next scene. And while I was out, I ran into a young lady who's a club promoter, and she actually invited me out to come and shoot this event. Now, low key, I was not gonna do this at all. I was like, I don't want to go shoot clubs. I don't like going to the club. I don't like shooting club events. Here I am, constantly throwing out into the universe, like I'm looking for potential so that I have the ability to use my skills that I already have a flexible schedule so I can be with my son. Plus, one of the reasons I started vlogging was to get my videography skills up. So this is literally exactly what I've asked for. I wasn't gonna do it, but it's good vlog content, right? So I think tonight I'm gonna do my first videography gig in Atlanta. Now, full disclosure, this is not a paid gig. It's more of like an audition, and I'm humble, you know what I mean? I know where I started. I know where I am currently. Like, I'm rusty. I haven't done this in so long, but I think it'll be a good networking opportunity. It's really what I need, you know what I mean? Like, I got to get my feet wet. I got to get ingratiated in the community and kind of break in the way I did before. Being from out of town, I know people in my industry, but I don't know people in this world in particular. So she said the people who usually come through and do it are only there for an hour. So I mean, that's super minimal. I'm already having trouble sleeping anyway, so like kind of makes sense. Plus my son's not here today. Since he's back in school today, his mom actually took him, so I have the time. I think I'm just gonna take advantage of the opportunity, see how it goes. But that got me thinking, didn't I conjure all this at the end of last year by propagating pothos? So let's check on those guys. I mean, they look pretty good. They look pretty good. I could let the roots grow out a little bit more, but this plant right here, it's kind of the same thing. Oh, it needs to drain out a little bit more. But this plant was about the same, and then these roots these are better. So yeah, let's go ahead and pot this thing. I don't know, man. If you're into plants, if you're thinking about getting some plants, definitely check out a pothos. It's like super low maintenance, very easy, you know, and I love the fact that you can propagate them pretty easy. Like I've mentioned before, I had about 35 plants before I moved here. I think I started with 18 or something like that, but they're pretty inexpensive. So I would like find them on Facebook Marketplace or whenever they would have like a sale at Home Depot or something like that, I'd get a bunch of them. I try to find one that was pretty dense, that had a lot of leaves on it. And then I would cut that one down, propagate it, and then I would just create more plants from it. Then I'd go on Amazon, order a couple of these 6-inch pots. These are like super cheap. I think they're like $3 a piece or something like that. But order those, and plants are like gold. I don't know who's behind this thing, but plants are surprisingly expensive. If you're new to the plant world, you will definitely experience sticker shock if you are not prepared, because you can walk out of a store easily and spend $400 or $500 on a plant. It's like buying rugs, like rugs and plants. I'm definitely in the wrong business. This looks pretty good, yeah? It's not bad. I will say, being a plant dad does not in any way prepare you to be an actual father. You can pick the characteristics that you like, the ones that work with your schedule. Does it need a lot of water? Does it need a little bit of water? Does it need a lot of sunlight? Does it need a little bit of sunlight? Like, what does that plant need versus a child, which is wildly unpredictable? Your input definitely has a huge part on your child's development, but there's a lot of things about kids that are completely unpredictable that there's just nothing you can plan for. If you're thinking, oh, I'm gonna get a plant as like a stepping stone into having kids, don't even bother. It's not even worth your time. It is completely different. Most of the leaves are outside of the soil. You know, the plant's not 100% balanced, but it's enough. You know what I mean? And I'm not like a master green thumb or anything. And that's kind of the plants I choose. I choose plants that are easy for someone who's new, but because I've definitely killed a few plants in my day, and we're trying to do better about that this year. I told her that I'm not really a videographer anymore. But yeah, so basically I was pretty honest with her. I told her, look, I haven't shot anything for anyone in years and I'm rusty. And I showed her my old work. She was impressed, but of course she acknowledged that it's not the same kind of work that she wants me to do. And that's fine. Like, look, maybe I used to be good a while ago, but I don't have any work to show her. And it's been a long time. Like, I'm rusty, and like, you just got to humble yourself. You know what I mean? If you haven't done something, and even if you're good at something, if you go to a new job, even though you used to be really good at your job at your old company, you're in a new place. So you got to humble yourself. You got to learn the way they do it. And, you know, only after you prove yourself, then can you start to step in and make changes and put your own spin on things and all that. I have no problem proving myself. I have no problem competing. I believe in myself. I'm confident. And if I don't know something, I'm willing to figure it out. She basically said what she's looking for is better lighting and a more engaged camera. You know, one of the things that we noticed on the footage, or at least that she pointed out to me, was a lot of the shots seemed very far away. And, you know, early on in my videography career, I did a lot of weddings. Let's keep it real. I did a couple of weddings. And in doing those weddings, one thing I noticed is that, like, the footage when you're not in it is just not the same. It doesn't have the same emotion. It doesn't feel engaged. It doesn't feel like you're there. It feels like you're like a peeping Tom, like a fly on the wall. And that's not what people want. People want to feel like they were there, especially with a club. I think it's just a really good opportunity. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes we run from things that we're good at. We run from our talents, you know, because we choose our passion. And I'm not saying that I'm talented or anything, but I'm saying, like, if this comes natural to me, if it's easy for me to get a job as a videographer, I shouldn't run from that because I don't want to do it. I should just dive right in. Man, life comes at you fast. I just put away all those clothes. I shot that young lady a text message, and I was like finalizing the plans for tonight. I was like, hey, what are the dimensions that you need for the deliverable? And then kind of, when do you want it back? Because I didn't find out a delivery date. And she's like, oh, I was actually kind of drunk and I gave you the wrong information. It's actually Saturday night, and I cannot do Saturday night because I have other plans. But I'm still glad that I was like really willing to get out there and embrace it and just jump back in, even though it was going to be, you know, different from what I'm used to. I'm rusty, but I was prepared. I guess thinking back on the whole, you know, planting seeds metaphor, sometimes when you plant a seed, it doesn't lead to a harvest. Like, it doesn't grow. But even if that does not happen, the soil is still richer for you having put that time and energy into it. You still put the nutrients that you needed into the ground, and you prepared it to grow, even if it yielded no results. Now, these skills that I had at some point are pretty much gone, and I'm having to build them back up. And it's a slow grind to kind of get back to the point where I'm completely comfortable with any scenario. It's very easy to be resistant to starting over specifically. And honestly, I don't even know if that's even starting over. Like, now that I think about it, these things kind of go together, right? Because once you do something once, you never actually go back to zero, because now you have experiences, you've learned something, you've had, have a little bit of knowledge, and you don't go back to exactly where you left off either. You go somewhere in the middle. And I think that's where the whole, you know, the nutrients that you put into the soil, the effort that you put into getting yourself where you were, that means something. And just because you fail or it doesn't work out or you don't have a major harvest, it doesn't mean you have nothing. You know, in this type of environment, it takes a lot of different seeds. It takes a lot of different relationships, a lot of different opportunities to start getting them to come in consistently. So maybe it doesn't happen today, maybe it doesn't happen tomorrow, but maybe now I have the confidence to go out and have the same conversation with 10 other people, and it brings in 4 different opportunities. Maybe it brings in 10 opportunities. Maybe it brings in 100. Even if it feels like a total loss, you are absolutely creating the conditions for future success. And that's just the way you have to look at it. You know what I mean? There's going to be disappointment, especially when you're a creative entrepreneur specifically, because it's so intangible sometimes. Sometimes it's not clear. If you want to be a doctor, you go to class and then you graduate and then you go to another school and you go to medical school and you do some residency. Like, there's a path. When you're a creator, when you're a creative entrepreneur, it's not so much like that. Sometimes you just meet the right person at the right time and you're set. Sometimes You fail a lot. Sometimes you try one thing and then you try something else, and eventually you fall into what works. Everyone's path is different. And the only way you're going to find your own is if you actually get on the road and start moving. That doesn't really fit with the plants thing, but you know what I'm talking about. So just keep planting seeds.